Hi! After an exciting Halloween weekend, I'm ready to continue my local brewery tour, and today I'm doing EJ Phair's Shorty's Revenge. It's actually described as an English-style ale. So it took me a little bit of time to find it in the BJCP style guideline, but there's a section, it's category 19, that are strong ales, and category A, or subcategory A is old ale. So this is BJCP category 19A for strong ale. And there's a lot of variance in this particular category. It's a traditional style ale, but usually with a higher alcohol content. And so Shorty's Revenge comes in now at 7.75% alcohol by volume. And so with a pretty large range of international bittering units between 30 and 60. And so there's a lot of different flavor that can happen in this particular style of beer. There's a lot of different commercial examples that are listed that I thought was really interesting, including Young's Winter Warmer, Sarah Hughes, Dark Ruby Mild, Samuel Smith Winter Welcome, Fuller's 1845 Fuller's Old Winter Ale. So there's a lot of different stuff going on in this category. So leave some wiggle room for that. But EJ Phair makes some really great beers, and Shorty's is one of my kind of go-tos every time I go to their restaurant here in Concord, California. So I'm excited to actually evaluate this based on the BJCP style guidelines, and then, of course, to finish drinking it once I'm done. Ooh, boy, is this foamy. So normally, I guess that explains why I've got all these marks on my carpet. Okay. Normally, if it foams like that, a couple of things will have happened. Either it was dropped or shaken while it was being traveled around. That was not the case because it's been in my refrigerator for several days now. So another possibility might be that it got too warm while it was being stored in the bottle, and that can happen. So this came out of a store where it wasn't being refrigerated. It was on shelves warm, so that could have been why it did that. But let's move on to aroma. I can smell it already, and it has a kind of fruity aroma. Oh, kind of nutty. Yeah, like a nutty toffee. Oh gosh, I want to drink this really bad. Yeah. So it has a nice malty sweetness to it. But it's definitely a nutty, toffee kind of aroma. Um, it does have some fruity esters to it, but just lightly, nice and malty. Oops, malty. Okay, making up words here. Okay. Um, so appearance-wise, this is a beautiful dark amber. And the light, of course, is behind me, actually, at this point, or behind the camera, so it's hard to see through it, but it's definitely a beautiful dark amber color. And it's relatively opaque. It does have some cloudiness to it. Or it does have, it's kind of cloudy, so, but relatively opaque, hard to see through at this point. And so while it did foam up when I opened the bottle, um, you can see now that the head has pretty much dissipated. And so it just has a light head on it now, which I thought was kind of interesting. Um, so I'm even curious to find out. So it should kind of have like a creamy head, and I don't know if you were paying attention, but it's not exactly white. It's a tan colored head. Okay. Um, Beautiful dark amber, light head. And I don't see a lot of carbonation in it when I'm looking at the side of the glass, though I can tell it's bubbling a little bit at the top. Light head, light carbonation look. Okay, my favorite part. Let's taste this. Wow. Yeah, one of my favorites. Okay. Um, my first drink, it was very um, malty, um, kind of roasted, um, nutty flavor, and it offered a little bit of sweetness. Um, the second drink that I had, the um, the finish into the aftertaste has an alcohol quality to it. That's partially due to alcohol aftertaste. That's partially due to the high alcohol content, um, and um, and is appropriate for this particular style of beer. As a matter of fact, it even describes, because of alcohol content being on the higher side, that it might have um, like a smell, kind of like a port or a sherry might, where you get that sweetness and a little bit of alcohol scent to it. And so I think that that's appropriate for this particular style. I think that they've done well there. The finish is really, really good. It finishes um, with a lingering sweetness, um, and I can tell in the aftertaste that there's um, hops, a little bit of hops bitterness, but not too much. Um, this is pretty well balanced, actually, from the kind of, and it's not really sweet, malty sweet, but it's malty, nutty, kind of toasted or toffee-like, burnt sugar kind of a quality. It's very good, and it balances very nicely in the finish and the aftertaste. While that second drink did have a stronger alcohol flavor to it, subsequent drinks haven't been that way. And so it's definitely enjoyable. As far as mouthfeel, this is a full-bodied beer. I think it's definitely carbonated, and we saw it fizz up in the bottle. And so definitely, um, definitely a strong mouthfeel. Um, it's full, nicely carbonated. Um, it kind of has I don't know if it's more of a flavor characteristic or a mouthfeel characteristic, but it has this like an astringency to it, and it's drying on the tongue. Um, oops, drying. Um, but it makes you want to go back and have another drink because it takes you on such a roller coaster ride through the sweetness and the nuttiness and the maltiness, um, and then the drying. And I think that the dryness is probably attributed to the hops. And I didn't look when I did some research a little bit online in advance to find out if this beer was and it I saw on Beer Advocate they have it listed as an American ale, but EJ Fair says specifically, both on their website and on the bottle, that it's an English strong ale. Um, and so I did not look to find out what exactly the ingredients are and whether or not they used American hops here. But I think um, the kind of bitterness, it's a resiny kind of bitterness, not piney and not quite citrusy, but in that neighborhood. So my guess is that there is some American hops in there, and that makes me very curious. So as a matter of fact, I'll probably look it up, and then I'll put in the comments for this video down below what kind of ingredients were used by an American brewery making an English strong ale. Because I'm always curious when people are making things in a particular style, what ingredients they're using to get that style, and then what ingredients they're using that are going to make it a unique beer to them. So we'll see that there. So my overall impression, this is a heavy hitter beer. It's definitely a full mouthfeel, a big, strong, malty, nutty character with some nice bitterness and a little bit of an alcoholic flavor because of that 7.75% alcohol by volume. But this is a great beer. I think I've been to EJ Fair a number of times, and people have had this beer that like IPAs, that like Hefeweizen, that like red ales, and so many people have liked this beer. I think overall it's an outstanding beer, and I really applaud EJ Fair for the creation of this particular beer. So I love it. I hope you love it. If you haven't had it, I'm not certain if Bevmo outside of the Bay Area is going to stock this or not, or if you can buy it online. I'm not entirely certain. But the brewery is EJ Fair. I think they brew out of Pittsburgh, and then they have a restaurant in Concord, in California. So check them out. This is really great. I know so many people that love this, and I think you would too. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. And if this is one of your favorite beers, let me know about down below. I love to hear feedback from everybody. All right, thanks. Have a good night.